Hello, Sagittarius. Love Sag. High flying, freedom loving, funnier than anything Sag. I've got your forecast right here, and I got some good news for you about Jupiter in the first. You all know some of you know what I'm talking about. I'll explain it. Before I start, though, a couple of things I want to share with you guys that I think you might find interesting and hopefully helpful. First of all, let me get organized here. That's better. Many of you have taken advantage of the gift I've sent, which is a free copy of your actual birth chart. I think everybody needs to have it. You may not know what it means. You may not want to be an astrologer, but it's yours. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of you have gotten the free chart and you've been real happy and said, now what do I do with it? I have no idea what I'm looking at. Right. So let me suggest, this is a not so subtle plug for my book. This is the first astrology book I wrote, and it still sells like it was written on gold. Now that I've cast it, what do I do with it? This is a book title that I got from my students back in the, very, very late 60s, early 70s, my astrology students, because we didn't have computers back then. And to cast the chart, you had to do it by hand. And I would teach that first. And my students would say, okay, now that I've cast it, what do I do with it? How do I hold it? What does it mean? This book is designed to help you pick up any chart, anybody's birth chart, and be able to interpret it. One of the things I do, a gift that I've been given, is to simplify things. I always say bottom line it, simplify it. And so I've given you basic sentences that you can use in interpreting a chart that will help you become the astrology student or the astrologer that you would like to be. Lots of books out there. It gets confusing which one to read. I'll tell you the book to follow, the one between your ears. Your brain is the best book you've got. And this book that I've written, now that I've cast it, what do I do with it, will help you access that so that you can express the astrologer within you. Okay, that's number one. Number two, have you taken advantage of my summer eclipse special? Starting with this July, things are really getting intense. You might say, well, they've gotten intense around the world, and that's true. They're building. They're getting more intense and more confused till after the United States presidential elections at the end of 2020. I haven't looked at 2021 yet. But I feel it's very important that everybody know their own forecast. So this July summer eclipse special is only going to be offered in July. It runs from July through the first eclipse in 2020. It covers 4 eclipses, 2 Mercury retrograde, 6 full moons. I'm putting the full moons in there. And of course, the major transits. I highly recommend it. I do it on video. All the information is on my website, MaxineTaylor.com. Now, my full moon ceremony, which is free, July 16th on the full moon. If you're in Atlanta, please come. It is magnificent. The people who attend make it magnificent. If you live outside Atlanta, if you live in Tokyo, if you live in Paris, if you live in Dubai, please join us. All you do is convert your birth time to 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And just go inside and be with us. I have had people tell me that they've done this for a long time, and you don't have to spend the entire hour with us. especially since this particular full moon is an eclipse, and I usually have double the amount of people at my eclipse ceremonies. I usually get about 40 to 45 people at a full moon ceremony. You double that and you know I'm going to be busy. And it's very spiritual and very powerful. So I invite you to attend. Now, we got Mercury retrograde and we got 2 eclipses. I'm going to start with a retrograde Mercury. I have been a student of astrology since 1966. And I forget, a lot of people don't know what I'm saying when I say we're having a retrograde Mercury. So I'm going to explain it to you. And what I'm going to suggest that you do, if you have not watched my video, my YouTube video, Mercury retrograde, the prequel and the sequel, watch it because it explains the shadow of the retrograde Mercury, which we feel 2 weeks before Mercury goes retrograde and 2 weeks approximately, sometimes longer, after it goes direct and comes out of retrograde. Mercury rules communication, correspondence, and transportation, our mouth and our minds. When it goes retrograde, it appears to me to be moving backwards in the heavens. It is not, but it appears to be, and that's exactly how it feels here on planet Earth. Everything is confused. Everything, especially where communication is concerned, correspondence, and travel. All right? People are confused. Those of us who have prominent Mercury in our charts, particularly. So Mercury is going to go retrograde on between the 7th and the 8th of July. Now, that means that 2 weeks prior, we've been in the shadow. You may not have felt it. On the 8th, I'm going to mention something. Mercury goes retrograde in 4 degrees of Leo. Mars, the planet of war and arguing, etc., is also in 4 degrees of Leo on the 7th and the 8th of July. Avoid arguments at all cost. You don't need that kind of aggravation because you may have to wait until after Mercury goes direct to clear it up with the person. And I certainly hope our national leaders around the world will curb it. No comment. No comment. You know what I'm talking about. So let's talk about Mercury retrograde in your phenomenal chart. Okay. The planets move this way, but Mercury's going backwards because it's retro. Mercury is in your 9th house, which is your natural house in the natural zodiac, the higher mind, the big picture, the principle of the thing. You, Sagittarius, you are a sign that is honest and truthful and deals with concepts and principles. You're able to see the big picture. You have a natural understanding of human nature. I just love that. Okay, Mercury goes retrograde on the 8th, 7th and 8th, in the 9th house. So maybe plans that you made to travel abroad are canceled for whatever reason. On the 18th, Mercury backs up into your 8th house. This is the house of other people's money. This is the house of secrets, of symbolic death and rebirth. It's the house of magic. And whenever we have anything in our 8th house, that's the house that undergoes those are the planets, rather, that undergo a transformation. So your thinking is going to be transformed. Isn't that cool? We do not start any new projects on a retrograde Mercury because they either fizzle out completely or have to be redone within the year. So this is a time to rethink, particularly when it comes to joint finances. Do you want to refinance? Do you want to lend money? What do you want to do about other people's money? Taxes, investments, etc. Personally, I would only tie up the loose ends of unfinished business. I would not try and finagle with the planets because you'll lose. I've done it, okay? So then on the 31st of July, Mercury goes direct. Things should start clearing up after that, and it moves back into your ninth house in August. Okay, let's talk about the sun, the giver of life. The sun, the yellow planet, is in your eighth house, and that means your ego is undergoing a change, a transformation. I love it. You are a psychic detective right now with all that eighth house going on. And so all you have to do is ask Spirit your question, and your answer will be given to you. If it's not immediate, when the planets are in the ninth house, you'll see the whole picture. And when it comes to other people's money, this may be what we're talking about for you. There can be a change. As the sun moves into the ninth house, which it does on the 22nd, you see the world differently. You see options open to you, which is wonderful. Mercury's still retro. You know, look at the world. Don't jump in feet first until after Mercury goes direct. Let's look at Venus, the pink planet. It's so beautiful. Venus brings love and money and beauty and just happiness. It's been in your seventh house of partnership and relationships. They should have been going beautifully. On the 3rd, it moves into your eighth house and you're rethinking love. There is a transformation potential for all of your loving relationships, and this can bring money through other people, through joint finances. On the 27th, Venus enters the ninth house, and you truly see the big picture. Your philosophy of life involves love. Travel is terrific. And Mars, the red planet, wherever Mars is, that's what is first to us. We fight with Mars. We'll fight with it, we'll fight for it. It's in your ninth house of your belief systems. It's in the ninth house of long distance travel. You want to get the hell out of Dodge. You want to go long. If you're going to travel on a retrograde Mercury, take carry-on luggage. Make sure that you know when your plane is supposed to leave. In other words, cross every T and dot every I. That's what I would do. Now, I've put Jupiter in your first house. Jupiter is your ruling planet. It has been retrograde, sitting in your first solar house. Don't worry, next month it goes direct. Jupiter is the great benefic. It brings incredible benefits. In the first house, you benefit personally. It can bring money too, by the way. If there's anything wrong with your body, it can enhance your health. It is just beautiful. So I put it there to tell you hope is on the way. Well, keep hoping because help is on the way. Jupiter will go direct right around the 12th, 13th of August. Now let's look at these eclipses, shall we? The first eclipse is on July 2nd in 10 degrees of Cancer. Find 10 Cancer, 10 and a half Cancer in your birth chart. It's a new moon, and so that's a whole new beginning. It's in your eighth house. So there are new beginnings relating to other people's money, relating to sex, relating to the secrets of life, the mysteries of life, and plain old ordinary mutual financial arrangements. I love it. The full moon on the 16th is a lunar eclipse, and this is in your second house of your money, your income. Don't you love it? It brings it to a head, possibly because of mutual financial agreements. I love that. Now, remember these eclipses are strongest 3 to 4 months after they occur. Thank goodness. Because with Mercury retrograde, all bets are off. You have to hurry up and wait. So I love the way this looks. Give it a few months. Let's see. October and November. Now there's a new moon on the 31st. And that is also the day that Mercury goes direct. And it's in your ninth house. And that is when you get your answers. You see the big picture and you spread your wings and soar. So that's your gorgeous forecast. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join me next month when once again I share your forecast with you. If you have any questions, of course, just contact me at my website, MaxineTaylor.com. I'll be glad to answer your questions if I possibly can. So till we meet again, may the stars shine brightly on you and yours. Bye for now.